Boudicca was a warrior queen of the Iceni, a Celtic tribe that inhabited what is now eastern England, who led one of the most formidable revolts ever mounted against the Roman Empire during the 1st century AD. Her story unfolds in the turbulent decades following the Roman invasion of Britain in AD 43 under Emperor Claudius, when parts of the island were gradually brought under imperial control through a mixture of military conquest and alliances with local rulers. Boudicca was married to Prasutagus, king of the Iceni, who ruled as a client monarch permitted to retain nominal authority in exchange for loyalty to Rome. This arrangement allowed a fragile coexistence, but it also left the Iceni vulnerable to Roman interference. When Prasutagus died around AD 60 or 61, he attempted to secure his family's future by naming both his 2 daughters and the Roman emperor as joint heirs to his kingdom, likely hoping to preserve a measure of autonomy and protect his lineage. Instead, Roman officials moved swiftly to annex the territory outright, treating the kingdom as conquered land rather than an allied state. According to the historian Tacitus, Roman procurators confiscated property, called in loans, and punished local elites. Boudicca herself was publicly flogged, and her daughters were assaulted, acts that shocked and enraged the Iceni and exposed the brutality underlying Roman rule. The outrage spread beyond the Iceni to neighboring tribes, such as the Trinovantes, who had long resented Roman taxation, forced labor, and the presence of Roman veterans settled on confiscated lands. Seizing the opportunity while the Roman governor Gaius Suetonius Paulinus was leading a campaign in Wales against the Druids on the island of Mona, Anglesey, Boudicca forged a broad tribal coalition and initiated a full-scale uprising. Her rebellion began with a direct attack on Camulodunum, modern Colchester, a Roman colony established for retired soldiers and a potent symbol of imperial domination, complete with a grand temple dedicated to the deified Claudius. The town was poorly defended, and Boudicca's forces overwhelmed it, destroying the settlement and slaughtering many inhabitants. A detachment of the 9th Legion sent to restore order was ambushed and largely annihilated, further boosting the rebels' momentum. The revolt then swept southward to Londinium, modern London, a thriving commercial center, and to Verulamium, modern St. Albans. Suetonius judged that he lacked sufficient troops to defend Londinium and evacuated it. Both towns were subsequently burned, and archaeological layers of ash and destruction attest to the scale of devastation. Roman sources, especially Tacitus and Cassius Dio, claim that tens of thousands of Roman citizens and allies were killed, though these figures were likely inflated to emphasize the gravity of the crisis. Boudicca is described as a tall, imposing woman with long, reddish hair and a powerful voice, addressing her warriors from a chariot and invoking themes of freedom, honor, and vengeance. In the Roman telling, she framed the conflict not merely as a political dispute, but as a struggle for dignity and ancestral rights against foreign oppression. Despite the dramatic early victories, the rebellion ultimately met the disciplined resilience of the Roman military machine. Suetonius regrouped approximately 10,000 legionaries and auxiliaries and chose a defensive position, possibly along Watling Street, where the terrain limited the numerical advantage of the Britons. In the decisive battle that followed, Roman tactics, tight infantry formations, controlled volleys of pila, and coordinated counterattacks proved devastating against the massed tribal forces. The Britons suffered catastrophic losses, and the rebellion collapsed. According to tradition, Boudicca avoided capture either by taking poison or by succumbing to illness shortly after the defeat. Although her revolt failed to expel Rome from Britain, it profoundly shook imperial authority and prompted reforms in provincial administration, leading to a somewhat more measured approach to governance. Over the centuries, Boudicca's image evolved from that of a dangerous rebel in Roman accounts to a national heroine in later British memory, particularly during the Victorian era, when she was celebrated as a symbol of courage, resistance, and the defense of liberty. Today, her legacy endures as a powerful reminder of the human capacity to challenge overwhelming power and to fight even against formidable odds for autonomy and justice.